Good evening, I'm Andrew Chang. Adrian is away. Tonight, the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan is over.
About 3,000 people here, no running water, no school.
But Susan Ormiston looks at the humanitarian crisis with no end in sight. Also tonight, already hit hard by COVID, Louisiana faces a storm cleanup that could take weeks. We'll look at what Ida left behind. Why some Albertans worried about COVID are asking for horse medicine.
This just isn't a safe way to do that.
And getting ready for school when the pandemic is still the main subject.
What goes on in schools is a reflection of what is going on in the community.
From nursing care to mental health supports, what do the kids need? This is The National. 20 years of American military presence in Afghanistan had already collapsed to a single point, Kabul International Airport. Now, even that point has disappeared. A few hours ago, the airport fully evacuated, America's longest war over. In Kabul, some celebrated in the streets and fired hails of bullets into the night, but others were trying to get out right up until the last moment. More than 120,000 had been airlifted out of that airport over the past few weeks. According to one military unit, the 18th Airborne, this is the last U.S. soldier to leave Afghanistan. Susan Ormiston is in the region, and she shows us how the final U.S. evacuation, like so much of this war, came under pressure, under fire, and with dire consequences for civilians.
An air bridge nearly done, with only hours left. Last glimpses of Kabul by air. A rocket barrage nearly threatened flights today. This burning vehicle was the makeshift rocket launcher. ISIS claiming it fired 6 Katyusha rockets from a car, but they were intercepted by an air defense system. People are terrified, worried about the future and more rocket attacks, he says. The U.S. is now being blamed for a drone strike Sunday on a car loaded with a bomb, but the strike reportedly killing a family of 10, including children. These were normal people. They had civilian jobs.
We are aware of reports of civilian casualties, and we take these reports very seriously.
As the Taliban cements its power, fears are propelling thousands of Afghans toward neighboring countries, like Pakistan. And this squalid settlement in Islamabad, over a decade old. 17-year-old Zakarullah and his family drove for 3 days to get here. The situation back home is bad, he says. We're looking for a better future. But here doesn't look better.
This is the product of an earlier wave of migration from Afghanistan. About 3,000 people here, no running water, no school. And Pakistan is now resisting the thousands more trying to get across the border, fleeing the Taliban.
Pakistan has long ties to the Taliban, yet millions of Afghan refugees are already here. Nasser Khan says with the Taliban in power, everyone is confused and afraid, his relatives stuck at a closed Pakistan border crossing. With the government bluntly saying it doesn't want more refugees, leaving displaced Afghans on the move with few options.
Just after midnight Afghan time, a reporter quoted a U.S. official saying the final plane is wheels up, the war is over, indicating the evacuation is done. So Canada, the U.S. and its allies are out of Afghanistan. And that near deserted airport in Kabul is a potent symbol of a startling shift of power to the Taliban, who have yet to announce a cabinet or a government. Susan Ormiston, CBC News, Islamabad.
Now, the legacy of 20 years of war in Afghanistan, still uncertain, but we know it came at a tremendous cost. 2,461 U.S. military personnel were killed. And over this country's 12 years in Afghanistan, Canada lost 158. The losses for the Afghan national military and police, at least 66,000, and the number of Afghan civilians killed in the fighting, more than 47,000. Now to the story of Hurricane Ida's punishing strike on the U.S. Gulf Coast last night. At least 2 people are dead after one of the strongest storms to ever hit the country, and the damage, it is extensive. It shattered the power grid, plunging all of New Orleans into darkness. Trees are down, cell towers crumpled, and water's everywhere. Tonight, Ida is a tropical depression making its way through Mississippi and Alabama. Now, there is fear that the number of dead could be higher. Today, the focus was on reaching anyone still trapped by water or debris. Here's Cameron McIntosh with tales of survival and what the next few days could hold.
As feared, Hurricane Ida didn't hold anything back, raising water up to 4 meters as 240 kilometer-an-hour winds tore at trees and buildings.
Oh my God!
That's the roof of a hospital. And that's part of the roof of that school.
Hi, Aubrey. This is Tiffany Miller. I'm actually in an attic right now.
Tiffany Miller, one of thousands stranded for hours, trying to escape the rising water by climbing up.
It came in kind of quick, so the only thing that we could do was climb in the attic.
Not far away, rescue crews spent today looking for others stranded, like Tamika Marshall.
It progressively got worse till it was ankles, knees, almost chest level, so we just put the dogs on the counters and then we climbed into the attic.
No one has any cell phone service or anything.
This man, just one of many people taking their own boats out to look for family and friends.
Just hoping that they're safe and hoping we can get out there soon to them. You know, right now it's just a waiting game. They're not letting us out there right now.
The storm cut a swath through Louisiana, hitting New Orleans head on, then overland into Mississippi, tearing up everything in its path. Power was cut to 1 million people. Authorities say it may take weeks to fully restore amid all this destruction.
I think the damage is catastrophic. It's the worst that I've seen in the 20 years that I've been in the parish.
Fortunately, unlike Hurricane Katrina 16 years ago, most of the levees held. Still, the damage is immense. Comparisons are being drawn between the sheer force of the storms.
As predicted by the National Weather Service, this is one of the strongest storms to make landfall here in modern times.
We need people to continue to shelter in place.
Speaking from the White House, President Biden urged those stranded to be patient, promising the full resources of the government.
We're going to stand with you and the people of the Gulf as long as it takes for you to recover.
Today, an idea of what that will look like, with lineups for essentials, food, water, gas, even from stations that are themselves in ruins.
Thanks, sir. Yes, sir.
All under punishing heat, and with the ongoing threat of COVID, Ida will certainly bring its own recovery challenges. Cameron McIntosh, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Now, as you saw, some people rode out the storm in their attics, but others got caught in their cars and needed help getting out, like this woman in New Orleans.
Right. When I open you will have water inside the car, right? 1, 2, 3, go. Let's go.
Now, this is actually an off-duty Italian naval officer rescuing her, helping get her door open and leading her through that waist-high water that was still rising. Other cars were also abandoned, the water reaching their roofs. And this will give you an idea just how fast those floodwaters were rising. These are security camera images from a Louisiana fire station, before and after shots, taken just 1 hour apart as Hurricane Ida moved through. Bare ground, a roadway, even what looks like a garage, completely submerged so quickly. Okay, now to Canada's federal election campaign. Our reporters are following the leaders of the main parties as they try to win your support. Let's begin with Travis Danraj, who's with the Liberal campaign in Iqaluit.
On a whirlwind 4-hour tour, the Liberal leader promised more money on 2 issues the Nunavut riding has grappled with for years. $2 billion to increase the supply of homes for First Nation, Inuit, and Métis, and $1.4 billion over 5 years to enhance mental health supports.
And the lessons we learned during COVID, we have to continue into the coming months and years as we build a better future for everyone.
The NDP incumbent decided not to run, so the riding is considered to be in play. All 3 major parties are running female candidates here and making promises on infrastructure, cost of living, and access to services.
I'm Nick Boisvert with NDP leader Jagmeet Singh in Ladysmith, BC. Today, more details on a defining campaign pledge to raise taxes on wealthy Canadians and corporations and use that money to improve social services.
There's not been a single conviction in 6 years for tax evasion. Not a single conviction. We know that we can do better.
Singh says an NDP government would close loopholes that make it too easy to shelter money and step up enforcement by the Canada Revenue Agency. He's betting the sight of huge corporate profits during the pandemic has Canadians open to change.
I'm Janice McGregor with the Conservative campaign, which took a bit of a puppy break today. Aaron O'Toole had his family and their dog Wexford with him at this rescue dog sanctuary in a Liberal-held riding north of Toronto. Having a dog or cat helped many Canadians through the pandemic, but this surge in pet ownership had a dark side.
We saw a growth in puppy mills and illegal imports, criminal groups taking advantage of Canadians' love for their pets. And tragically, we've also seen an increase in animal abuse and violence, closely tied to the increase in domestic violence.
Conservatives are promising to ban puppy mills, to stop unethical breeders, and to add animal cruelty as an aggravating factor in domestic violence prosecutions. The party says people are really responding to this part of their platform as Conservatives continue to introduce their new leader to Canadians.
Now, in every election, parties are forced to contend with candidates who draw attention for the wrong reasons. Today, it was the Conservative leader who had to break from his campaign message to respond to a question about a longtime MP. David Cochran shows us what makes her controversial.
The Liberal budget is a deceitful betrayal.
Cheryl Gallant is an outspoken Conservative MP who makes frequent videos to express her views. But her YouTube page has been scrubbed clean after this video became an issue.
How long do you think it'll take before the Trudeau Liberals start calling for a climate lockdown?
It wasn't just the words, but the images, deemed inappropriate by her party as angry protesters stalk Trudeau's campaign. CBC News has obtained copies of the now private videos.
Trudeau is using the pandemic to rob Canadians blind.
She tries to link Trudeau to conspiracy theories about the global elite.
You recall these statements from Justin Trudeau. Great Reset.
She even suggests electric vehicles are deadlier when involved in an accident.
Does the paramedic know to check to see if electrocution is a risk before helping a victim?
And so, at a campaign announcement to ban puppy mills, Aaron O'Toole faced questions about dog whistles.
In 2 decades as an MP, she's made a series of statements that are not founded in fact. So why is she allowed to get away with it?
Our team is running on Canada's recovery plan, and every single person running as a Conservative candidate is committed to our 5-pillar plan.
That reassurance from O'Toole also came with a warning that any candidate that doesn't fully support his plan won't be allowed to sit in his caucus. A clear attempt to maintain the moderate image O'Toole is presenting in this campaign. David Cochran, CBC News, Ottawa.
A Conservative candidate in Nova Scotia dropped out of the race today. The party says it urged Troy Myers to withdraw after a woman made a public allegation of sexual assault she says occurred in 2019. Myers said he denies the allegation and will fight to preserve his reputation. Because all nominations across Canada were locked in today, his exit means the Conservative Party will not have a candidate in the riding of Dartmouth-Cole Harbour. Canada's fourth wave continues to build, surging especially in the west. And in per capita terms, Alberta is seeing the fastest growth of all. The month of August has seen average daily new cases in the province more than quadruple to nearly 900. COVID-19 hospitalizations following a similar trend. More than 400 are now seriously ill, and many others are still vulnerable. Alberta has one of the lowest provincial vaccination rates, with just 59% of the total population double-dosed. And despite strong evidence that vaccines work, Aaron Collins shows us why some people not only aren't convinced, but are turning to a drug often used to deworm livestock.
It's not a request Lance Olson expected to come up at his Southern Alberta feed store.
When people are calling, they're calling for the ivermectin fluid. And those calls started probably last fall.
A product sold for years for deworming livestock now being sought out by people looking to treat COVID-19.
People are looking for a way to avoid or to prevent or to treat COVID without taking the vaccine or getting the vaccine. And this just isn't a safe way to do that.
No clinical studies have proven that ivermectin can treat or prevent COVID. Still, it's been pushed as an alternative treatment by some skeptical of vaccines.
And myself and my team,
including this Ontario MP now running in Alberta and critical of the Prime Minister's vaccine-focused COVID response.
I've never heard him mention ivermectin or many other drugs that could be useful in this fight. Amen.
Rhetoric that's fueled interest in the drug. So much so, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration had to put out this tweet warning against using the drug to treat COVID. Similar warnings have appeared in Canada, but interest in ivermectin remains.
It's becoming increasingly astonishing to us that we're actually seeing patients now demanding this as treatment, even though there's no proven benefit for COVID.
Alongside Caleb Wallace.
In the U.S. over the weekend, a prominent anti-mask protester died of COVID-19 after refusing to be vaccinated and treating himself with ivermectin and vitamins. Health officials insist the best way to protect yourself from COVID is to get vaccinated. Back at Lance Olson's feed store, he's moved his ivermectin to the back room.
So what are you telling people when they come in looking for ivermectin?
Don't take it. It's not approved for human consumption, and it could seriously harm somebody.
It's a message frontline health workers here worry isn't getting through. Aaron Collins, CBC News, near Calgary.
The U.S. is urging Americans not to travel to Canada due to COVID-19. The Centers for Disease Control issued a warning today, noting a high level of infections in this country. Dozens of other countries are under the same advisory, including Australia and Germany. Well, Bighorn sheep in southern British Columbia are dying off in alarming numbers, and scientists say there is little they can do to save them.
This amount of loss this quickly is devastating. I don't really have any other words for that.
Up next, the disease that's killing them and why things are expected to get worse. And later, it's an anxious time for kids and their parents.
So masking, physical distancing, the screening, we're cleaning high contact areas.
What schools are doing to keep students safe as they return to the classrooms. Plus, this.
Without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to one of Brittany's bridesmaids.
A pandemic wedding and her bridesmaid beamed in for the occasion. We're back in 2. Welcome back. At the sex trafficking trial of R. Kelly today, testimony from a man who says the singer abused him when he was in high school. Several women already testified against Kelly, alleging they were sexually abused. The 54-year-old has pleaded not guilty. An 18-year-old Mexican boxer remains in a Montreal hospital tonight after being knocked unconscious by a Quebec fighter over the weekend. Jeanette Zapata had to be carried out of the stadium on a stretcher. The fight's promoter says she is in critical but stable condition. Now in southern BC, high numbers of bighorn sheep are suddenly dying. Scientists call it a mass mortality event. Brady Strachan tells us what's behind it and how the summer's heat and drought are making it harder for this iconic animal to survive.
That potential mortality should be coming up.
Yeah. It's not the kind of wild sheep chase these researchers want to be doing. They're searching for California bighorn sheep using equipment that tracks radio collars on the animals.
The individual with the collar is most likely towards the highway.
Their readings indicate 9 to 12 collared sheep in the region are no longer moving, and that usually means the animals have died.
So we're looking in like the 60 to 80% mortality rate from a potential population of 230 to 250 individuals. So it's a mass mortality event really is what's occurring here.
California bighorn sheep are one of 4 species of wild sheep in BC. The animals are susceptible to infections which have decimated herds. The disease that is killing sheep here is called blue tongue. It's a viral infection transmitted by small flying midges that's not often seen on this side of the border. Biologists believe seasonal wind patterns move infected insects from areas endemic in the U.S. up here into southern British Columbia. Outbreaks continue until the first frost in the fall, which kills off the midges infected with the disease. Biologists say record-breaking temperatures and a lack of rain this year are also a factor. With few water sources, sheep congregate in groups, increasing opportunities for the disease to spread.
This disease, as it currently stands, is exacerbated by this drought period and is going to be more frequently due to human-caused climate change. So there's another mortality.
Many of the deceased animals have ended up near a wildlife fence. It's grim work for researchers as they come across carcass after carcass across the landscape.
This amount of loss this quickly is devastating. I don't really have any other words for that.
Conservationists are concerned about this herd and wonder if it will be able to recover to numbers seen before the outbreak.
They're an iconic species. Here in British Columbia, I don't think most people know how many sheep or how special it is here.
Near the end of a depressing day in the field, a glimmer of hope.
There's one live one right there.
Oh, thank God.
Researchers hope this ewe will be one of the few bighorns to survive and be an important member of the herd as it tries to recover from this deadly year. Brady Strachan, CBC News, Grand Forks, British Columbia.
Well, schools are preparing for the return of in-class learning with a fourth wave taking off across the country.
We're looking at making sure that masks would be used if singing's happening inside.
Up next, a closer look at how schools are preparing and trying to keep kids safe. Plus, being back in the classroom comes with a lot of anxiety for some. So we will talk to an expert about how students are coping. But first,
can Doris hold on? Will she even hold on for a medal here? It's looking like Wegerman is going to go to a second gold. It could be the Canadian, though. It is Paralympic record, and indeed a win for America's Wegerman. Doris holds on for a Canadian silver.
Yeah, that's another medal for Canada at the Tokyo Aquatic Centre, provided by 18-year-old Danielle Doris from New Brunswick. It is her first ever Paralympic medal and Canada's 12th at these Games. Welcome back. The end of August still feels like full-blown summer, but it's also back to school season right across the country. And once again, it is happening under a COVID cloud, with many areas now in a fourth wave of this pandemic. So tonight, as part of our Back to School series, Deanna Sumanak-Johnson takes a look at some provincial plans to keep students safe.
So we have a hand wash station here right inside the class?
Yes. And hand hygiene is so critical.
At this Hamilton Public School, safety comes first this school year.
So masking, physical distancing, the screening I already mentioned. We're cleaning high contact areas.
Those measures are required by the Ontario government, but the board is adding a few of its own.
For singing inside, it was supposed to be allowed without masks. We're looking at making sure that masks would be used if singing's happening inside. There is some motion sensor that will allow the unit to increase the airflow and the filtration.
But there's concern Ontario's school safety plan falls short on things like smaller class sizes and mandatory vaccinations for teachers. Still, it's the country's most cautious approach, requiring kids from grades 1 through 12 to mask up. Parents in BC want something similar.
We just heard that the masks will be mandatory from grade 4 till grade 12. And I think that a lot of parents that we're hearing from are very disappointed with that. They wanted it to be kindergarten to grade 12, pretty much.
Alberta and Saskatchewan are not requiring things like masking and distancing this school year, though some school boards are adding them back. This pediatric infectious diseases specialist says it's tough to compare plans.
Each school district, each municipality will have different needs.
But she says there's one thing all communities can do to keep schools safe and open.
What goes on in schools in terms of the number of positive cases is a reflection of what is going on in the community. So highlighting what we can do at a community level to reduce transmission in our community so that we can decrease how often cases are brought into the classroom.
Dr. Wong also says school safety plans have to be dynamic, able to change quickly as infection rates do, and we've already seen that. Quebec, for example, initially said it wouldn't mandate masks in schools, but then just last week it said they were required, proof that uncertainty and inconsistency will once again be part of this school year. Deanna Sumanak-Johnson, CBC News, Toronto.
Now, with in-person learning on the horizon, COVID is not the only concern that is top of mind. Nerves and anxiety and mental health, also something to be mindful of. Have a listen to what some teachers and parents had to tell us.
As an educator, I'm very fearful for the mental health and well-being of my students because of the gaps we've seen widen over the past 1.5 years in terms of academics, socialization, food security, and poverty.
I'm worried about my kids who are under 12 and heading back to school in September after 16 months of interruptions and the anxiety associated with further lockdowns as we head into the fourth wave.
So wearing my kindergarten teacher hat, kids need to see facial muscles, and they're not doing that with the masks on. And wearing my teenage dad parent hat, my boy is going to be worried about who is vaccinated and who isn't. It's not good for anyone's mental health.
So look, here to tackle some of these concerns, Dr. Shimi Kang, a psychiatrist in Vancouver, also author of The Tech Solution. Dr. Kang, good of you to join us here today.
Good evening, Andrew.
So Dr. Kang, I mean, it's tempting to think of kids like rubber bands, right? You pull them in all kinds of uncomfortable positions, but then they snap back when things get back to normal. How would you, though, temper or complete that thought?
I would say even pre-pandemic, kids were under immense strain, and we knew that stress was the #1 health epidemic with rising rates of anxiety, depression, video game addiction, cyberbullying, all kinds of stuff were on the rise, and then the pandemic hit. So as you just heard by the video callers, this is top of mind: mental health, social connection, resiliency. We are seeing cracks. We were seeing them before. I feel that one of the biggest threats and issues of our time is the mental health and wellness of young people. So after 18 months now, we're seeing the effects of chronic stress, which does have impact on physical, mental, social health. So although kids are highly resilient, and I certainly believe that many will do just fine, we really have to look out for those at risk, those who are already in challenged situations. Have you heard maybe poverty, maybe violence in the home, maybe mental health issues already, and look out for them and plan for a successful school year.
Right, because what would you say is the most common source of anxiety? Is it just the regular back-to-school jitters? Is it that all of this normalcy is kind of flooding back all at once, or is it something else? What is it?
I would say it's all of that, plus, of course, COVID, and many people were hoping that it would be completely gone, and we don't have to wear masks or worry about it or think about it as much anymore. And of course, as you heard, we're heading into a fourth wave. So all of that puts pressure on the young brain. So the young brain, doesn't have the problem-solving capacity. Often it can get overwhelmed. It can get triggered by that freeze, fight, or flight stress response. Freeze is anxiety. Fight is they're irritable, they're angry. And flight is they want to escape. So they're turning to technology, they're turning to social media and video games. Older teens, drugs and alcohol rates are on the rise. So all of that really is coming together in a perfect storm.
Okay, and Dr. Kang, you mentioned technology there, right? And that's something that kids maybe have become, I don't know, a little too acquainted with over the course of the pandemic. And you talk about them, potentially turning back to technology when they feel that rush of anxiety. What is it in that vein that you would tell to parents when they're thinking, okay, how should I help my child through the kind of resumption of school if I'm noticing something is off?
Yeah, so we really have to understand we need to move from screen time to screen quality and start to guide our children to what I call a tech diet. So tech is not all bad, it's not all good. In fact, when we look closely at it, I call it the fire of our time, meaning that it is a human innovation, just like fire, and those that learn how to use it well will go further and farther than ever before. And those that don't can get burned and burn down the village. So we need to teach children that there's toxic tech that is really not good for them, releases cortisol, and that includes things like cyberbullying and the hate online, but also comparing your life to others and that fear of missing out. And social media really contributes to that.
Okay, and Dr. Kang, I have time for one last question. If you were to just give kind of one final piece of advice for parents in terms of how to recognize that something is off, beyond what usually might be off, and then what to do about it, what would you say?
Yeah, so young kids often don't express their feelings. They don't have the language for it, but they can also often experience it in their body. So tummy aches, headaches, and school refusal is a big one, and really not making sense as to why, because they can't communicate. But what I tell teachers and parents and everyone is this, to remember this rhyme, it is where focus goes, neurons grow. Despite all the stresses, despite the anxiety we're talking about, we want to keep the focus on the positive. School is a positive time in many people's lives. It's a time of learning, social connection. So really putting the focus there, planning ahead, and building a routine as much as possible so that we get off to a good start.
All right, Dr. Kang, always good to talk to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now, in Ontario, some children who require extra support may not be heading back to the classroom. Farah Morale shows us why and looks at the growing calls for the government to do more.
Want to hold Mommy's hand? Oh, thank you.
Caden Duta was supposed to start junior kindergarten next week. He was born with a neuromuscular disease and needs a dedicated nurse with him in class. But his mother was recently told that might not happen.
What we have been told is that there is a severe nursing shortage in Ontario that is especially impacting home care nursing, which also provides school nursing. It's part of the same system. And so because of this severe shortage, Caden doesn't right now have full-time nursing scheduled for school.
I'm really frustrated. Martin isn't alone. CBC News has spoken to 3 other parents, including Joanne Witt, who are in a similar position. Witt's 4.5-year-old son Hudson has a congenital heart defect, and he needs a nurse to regularly monitor his oxygen. But she too was told there simply wasn't one available.
I'm sad for him because I know that he really enjoys when he does get to play with other children. He needs to go to school for the socialization aspect because he has been isolated.
Today, hundreds of Ontario ER doctors signed an open letter to Premier Doug Ford demanding a pay increase for nurses, saying they're quitting in unprecedented numbers. In a statement, the Ministry of Health said the government will be spending $61 million to support the recruitment and retention of nurses through initiatives designed to expand enrollment in nursing education programs.
Our agency who provides our night nursing is, looking through all their thousands of nurses to see who has availability and who might be able to do this, but nobody can create nurses out of thin air.
For now, it's all hands on deck for Martin, who says she won't stop trying to find a solution.
Caden, how old are you? Yeah, 4.
Farah Morale, CBC News, Toronto.
Well, with a close election race, it is too early to predict a winner, but some ridings may well be worth watching closely.
This could be a swing location, absolutely.
Up next, David Common takes us into the heart of a bellwether riding. Plus, a little later, a bridesmaid's appearance at a pandemic wedding, straight out of science fiction.
This election, make your vote count for you, your family, your community, and all of Canada. The health of our country, how the economy is handled, and what it means for every Canadian. Your vote counts. Your vote matters. Because this election is about you. CBC News is here to listen to what matters to you, answer your questions, and provide you with the tools you need to make an informed decision. Informed by you, Canada Votes 2021.
With Election Day just 3 weeks away, the leaders of the main parties were out in full force fighting for your support. Voters from all 338 ridings will decide the next government, but some ridings just tend to be in step with the national mood. In Ontario, Peterborough-Kawartha is one of those bellwether ridings, a place where some people believe the winning candidate is bound to be in government. David Common paid a visit to Peterborough-Kawartha to try to get a feel for the political mood there. Here's what voters told him.
This may seem about as far away from the campaign trail as you can get, but there's something of a political crystal ball in these waters.
It's sort of this politically important area because they go for who ends up winning. Which means they change their vote.
This could be a swing location, absolutely.
Joe Lineberry, a transplanted American turned local boat business operator, is amazed by the people here.
They're engaged, and they read, and they care. And it's not just blinders on, driving down the road, accepting whatever's given to them.
This riding, Peterborough-Kawartha, is Canada's most reliable bellwether. In the rise and fall of politics, the region known for its Trent Severn locks and canals has, with just one exception, elected an MP from the party that goes on to form government for 6 continuous decades. So we figured it's a good place to take the political temperature.
How are you?
Our government, to me, has doled out way too much, way too fast, and way too long.
This is a vacation destination, so many here are not from this riding. Some just don't like any of the political choices before them.
I don't know, they all promise you this and that and everything so they can get in. And then once they're in, no different than all the other ones.
Yes, there is plenty of cynicism. Others, though, not even really aware there is a vote.
We're telling you. Okay, September 20th. Okay. September 20th.
Step on dry land, plenty who'd rather get clear of COVID before doing anything else.
Let's just get through this one problem at a time. And it could backfire on Justin, which would be unfortunate for me.
And I think we could easily be looking at another minority government and coming out of it at the end of it, not any further ahead.
We got Trudeau again, and I don't know if he's going to get in.
Yeah.
And then we've got the Conservative, and he's really not known.
Yeah, well, I've noticed you're not using his name.
No, I can't even think of it.
Others, much less focused on leaders, instead zeroing in on issues.
Daycare.
Daycare?
Daycare.
Yeah.
Affordable daycare.
The environment matters a lot to me. I'm Indigenous, so a part of that is, not really trusting the government a whole lot. So that plays a factor into everything.
In 1989,
Donna Rourke, raised in this riding, wants to see help for those with addictions.
the only people dealing with this are the police and the jail guards, and they're not trained for it. So what we need is some federal help to find facilities for all these people that are experiencing these mental health issues.
And locals know their political power.
I don't think Trudeau should have called an election right now.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's the way I feel.
Will that change your vote?
There's a good chance, because I did vote for him last time.
How do we get the services that people need while paying for it without ballooning it out? Like, inflation's a huge thing.
Justin Bieber is the Prime Minister. You got it.
Well, no, kids. Justin Bieber isn't on the ballot. Not this time, anyway. It's a different Justin.
Well, he wants to be Prime Minister again, so he's sort of applying for the job, but there's other people who want the same job, and so Canadians get to choose who gets that job.
We have to decide if Justin's the right person or not.
Political lessons from this visiting family. But they've got it down, too.
But sometimes you have to vote to make sure some party won't win, just so you have to be strategic instead of...
Strategic voting.
That happens in many ridings, and certainly has before in this bellwether. Will Peterborough-Kawartha's hold its title for being Canada's most reliable current bellwether? Yeah, we're gonna know in 3 weeks. David Common, CBC News, Peterborough, Ontario.
Well, a new technology is turning roofs, walls, and even windows into solar panels.
I hope the next step will be city planner and architecture start to take a look solar shingle technology.
Up next, why some are hoping they could be the building blocks of a greener Canada. But first, quite the outdoor scene for a couple of friends near Timmins, Ontario, finding this moose in the bush stuck in the mud. Authorities weren't responding, so they figured they had to act quickly. To help rescue the animal, they used straps around its antlers and an ATV. And with their help, the animal finally got out, caught its breath, and ran off.
I'm Jamie Poisson, and tomorrow on CBC's Daily News podcast, Front Burner, after 20 years, the U.S. is slated to withdraw from Afghanistan on Tuesday. A view from the ground in Kabul. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Some images from the Skaha Creek fire near Penticton, BC, which doubled in size overnight to more than 200 hectares. But authorities say so far it's not threatening the city. There are more than 220 active wildfires across BC, though the number of evacuation orders and alerts in the province has been steadily falling. Well, scorching summer and now a looming election has put climate policy top of mind for many Canadians. But as party leaders debate whose environmental plan is better, some Canadian companies are already working to cut down emissions by making solar technology more widely available. Singh has the story.
You're going to get maximum sun exposure, electricity generation.
Carlisle Coutinho wanted his home in Oakville, Ontario to generate its own electricity, but didn't want to put bulky, unsightly solar panels on his roof. So instead, he had these solar shingles installed, which look like and do the job of regular shingles, never have to be replaced, and also produce electricity.
As you can see, they're so seamless, they look great. The roof actually looks better with the shingles on it than it did before. I've had so many neighbors actually text me and say they're so jealous about how great it looks and the fact that, you're doing good as well.
They're called Building Integrated Photovoltaics, or BIPV, which integrates solar technology into home building materials.
I hope the next step will be city planner and architecture start to take a look solar shingle technology to start to think about adopt like a green power to the whole community, to their plan.
Mitrex is another company that produces BIPV panels that look like everything from marble to brick. It even makes windows that convert solar energy to electricity.
5 years ago, I thought about the idea of why is all the heat and the energy going to waste? Why not utilize that energy, utilize the sunlight and the heat that we have, and turn them into electricity?
The company says buildings designed with BIPV can create about 80% of the energy they need. This professor of building engineering worked on Canada's first net zero public building.
We are at an important stage in the development of buildings as energy producing systems, not just energy consuming.
He says the price of BIPV materials is affordable and hopes it will soon become a major part of a greener electricity grid. Singh, CBC News, Toronto.
Well, COVID has forced us all to get a little creative to see loved ones at a distance. But this Toronto couple got extra creative in very futuristic fashion. That story's next. Well, weddings have been a real challenge for people during the pandemic, trying to gather people from all over safely. But for one Toronto couple, technology has come to the rescue, and you gotta think much bigger than just a simple video call. When the groom realized that his bride-to-be's best friend could not be there because she's living in the UK, he did the next best thing to having her be in attendance. He beamed her in, and it's our moment.
Without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to one of Brittany's bridesmaids from London, Sarah Reddington.
Ring, ring. London calling. You look so beautiful. Oh my God. Husband of the year.
I was absolutely heartbroken when we learned that we were 3 weeks short of her coming.
Our wedding was absolutely perfect, beyond truly anything we could have imagined. And I say that truthfully, but this was the cherry on top. It'll definitely be something we talk to our grandkids about.
I wouldn't miss this, baby.
I think a lot of people are speechless. I'm pretty much speechless. This is incredible, but I love you so much. Thank you. We will see you so soon.
Have a great night. Congratulations.
So apparently this is a thing. Not that it comes cheap. I think these kinds of holographic media companies, it can cost thousands of dollars to do something like that. But boy, what a memory to create, and apparently pretty lifelike. They were apparently taking photos together with the real life-size hologram. Pretty neat stuff. That's The National for this August 30th. Hope you have a great night.